Hey everybody, welcome back. Um, the video you're about to see has been absolutely one of the greatest frustrations that I have had to deal with in probably the past month. December hasn't been good for me, particularly regarding digital technology. Um, I recorded this video right around Thanksgiving, and I've been trying to edit it together since then, and my piece of junk camera decided to corrupt all the data, and the only way I was able to get it through was doing this. I wouldn't have put so much effort into it, but unfortunately, what I think would have been the best video I've made so far is now the worst video I've ever made. Just because of the fact that in order to get around the corrupted data, I had to screen record and then sync up the audio, since my pretty much no option I took would allow me to export my beautiful edited video, um, which unfortunately some of the original data was corrupted from the camera itself. So, that being said, enjoy. This one will be more about the content than the presentation, but it does the job. Thanks for tuning in.
Hey folks, welcome back. Out on a little hunting trip here today. It's about, I want to say 30 degrees, just below freezing. Not here, and a very good friend of mine has a piece of property, let me come out every season. So having fun with that. Hi Kelly. Nice horse. Um, so I figured while I'm walking out to my little encampment here, I'd make another video. It's been a little while since I've uploaded anything. I've been swamped at work, but one of the things I've been finding really gets me through this pandemic is just doing stuff like this and going out into nature and having a good time. You know, it's a good way to just get some solitude, unplug from the world, clear your mind, and just be with nature. Um, whatever your views on hunting are, that's yours. I can't fault you either way. People got their beliefs. For me, it's about putting some meat in the freezer that I know doesn't have any additives or any other nonsense in it. So that's why I do that. Um, I haven't been hunting for too many years, but I've been putting in the effort. So yeah, it's this is the week after Thanksgiving here out here now. Did some scouting last week, and I wanted to test out my kit. So even if I don't get anything, this is at least an opportunity for me to test out all of my equipment that I've got. I'm wearing my bug out bag right now with a couple things removed that I really don't need, and all the kit I could ask for. So what I'm going to be doing, if I'm getting a little out of breath here, I'm walking through some pretty sloshy stuff right now. Can't even get the four-wheeler through here. It's so muddy. Whew. So as far as the kit I've got on my back, um, one of the big parts of my philosophy on survival packs and all that kind of stuff. I'm not some kind of, preparing for war kind of guy, but I think it's cool to have a little something that you can use if you need to, or maybe go spend a couple days off the grid. I think it's good to be able to have some kit. So what I've got on me right now, I've got no-name brand Camelback, which I'm actually very impressed with. If it wasn't for the fact that it's not stamped, you wouldn't even know that it isn't an actual Camelback. Ooh, that's cold. So that's the first thing. And what I've got in my pack here is a Rossi R92. I've got it loaded up with 45 Colt, some very hot hand loads that are more than adequate for deer. Frankly, anything you hit with this within 300 yards, I think it's going to go down. Made this load to optimize it for hunting in short range, brush like I'm going to be. And I've got cleaning items for the camelback. I've got some rope and other mixed and matched essentials, ammunition, and pretty much anything you can think of that would be useful for a trip into the woods. So all said and done, when I weighed the pack, I got about 35 pounds on me. Whew, through the rough stuff. I went kind of the same route with my clothes and everything here. I've got pretty much the only thing I got on me right now that's name brand is my boots, which are slightly older 511 tactical. I like them quite a bit. They're zip sides, and yeah, they do pretty good as long as I don't submerge my foot in water for too long. And then, even with waxing them, you get a little water through the zippers. And I've got shemagh, got some gloves because it's a little chilly and breezy here today. No-name commando sweater, which is actually very comfortable. Only problem with it is, if this was true survival, I wouldn't be wearing it because it's cotton and acrylic, and that's no good. Because when cotton gets wet, it freezes. When wool does, you don't have as much of an issue. So I'm starting to get into my nice little area here. We'll pick this back up in a few minutes. All right, folks. Got my Rossi loaded up. And now we wait. One of the things that I've always found is really wonderful about being out in the woods like this is kind of like how they say you have your best thoughts when you're in the shower. Right? That's when you have your best ideas. I think the same thing is true in the woods. So, all I've got right now is I have the sound of the river, which is one of the only reasons I can even bother talking right now, because that covers up my noise just a little bit. And then a little set of brush here. So, when you think about a lot of stuff, here I am, I'm surrounded by giant trees. It's an absolutely beautiful landscape, and they get you thinking. So one of the things that I was doing some thinking about is I've got all this wonderful nature, and it gets me on the track of stewardship. I see, especially up here in the north where there's still a lot of old growth forest, one of the things that I constantly run into is I see people who either buy land, or maybe they come from downstate and they buy some nature. It becomes a cool little vacation home for them. Or you get, in my case, I used to get all the time students who would be inheriting from their parents huge tracts of land. And one of the big issues that a lot of kids and people in general aren't aware of is the concept of stewardship. As humans, we are beings that are only here for a finite amount of time. The land will be here long after we're gone because it was here long before we were. Trees may shrivel up and they die and they fall over. It's part of the circle of life. But stewardship is something that needs to be taught a lot. The idea that we are merely caretakers of what we have. I can walk around and say, "Oh, I own X amount of land, and I have this and I have that," but those things are inanimate. They're ideas. Right? The concept of ownership, um, it's the foundation of the American dream, but at the same time, it's also, in a way, a falsity. Um, the American dream is to own everything that you have and not owe anything to anyone else, and to have the ability to exercise your freedoms and your liberties. Yet at the same time, people who really think deeply about it realize that they only own it for as long as they are alive or decide to hang on to it. So, you get a large piece of property like this. I'm sitting on about 50 acres here right now. And even though there's a farm at the entrance of it, my friend has some cattle and goats and that kind of stuff. One of the big things is that they've kept most of this untouched. It's got a couple tracks running through it, uh, for the horses, but they're undeveloped. They're just kind of beaten down paths. And it's one of those things where they've opted to be stewards of their land. They understand that they're not going to be the only people who use it. They take care of it. They let it be what it needs to be, what it is naturally. And that's what's environmentally responsible as well. Right? It's good to do some farming. It's good to have some undeveloped land. And that's how it should be. Instead of being at odds with nature, we need to be in step with it, even if we're not, I'm not saying go out and just live in the woods and, be the mountain man, but I am saying that everything we do as humans, related to technology, related to pretty much anything, involves that. So I look at something like this and I say, wow, I wish I had a piece of land like this. I've got some land, but this place is awesome. And I'm glad that I have such amazing friends that would let me come out here and use this. Um, it's one of those things, you start to develop connections over time. You find yourself being very close with people who in the past you may have just been acquaintances with. And, relationships come and go. But even in that case, it's just like stewardship, right? We're there for each other when we need to be. We live in step with each other. And when the time comes, we part ways. Right? And those longer friendships and relationships, you could look at just as if it's your family's relationship with a piece of land. Right? I consider a finite relationship one that ends when one party disappears. That infinite relationship between us and nature can continue through generations. Right? Those people that are inheriting. So, um, here I am rambling, but hopefully I'm getting my point across. Make what you will of it. Philosophy in itself is ambiguous. So there's so many interpretations, but um, get in touch with nature, get in touch with yourself, enjoy what time you have, and remember that whatever stress you've got isn't necessarily what you need to have every day. I've had a terrible week at work. I have been home for about 10 minutes since I woke up this morning. I went home to change into my hunting clothes and drove out here. and I'm going to stay out here until it's dark. Um, I've been hunting for a couple of years now. I have yet to ever get anything, and I probably won't get anything today either. And that's okay. I got to spend some time out here, enjoying my surroundings, and getting some exercise in, and having some deep thoughts. So that's where we're at. Um, I'm out here, and I had a plan for what I was going to make for a video today, but once I started walking, I forgot what it was. And I said hi to some horses, and I kept walking, and here I am. All of a sudden, I'm talking about stewardship and relationship with nature. I even say a little bit of spirituality here. It's like being in a bit of a meditative state. So enjoy what you've got. So I'll be making another video out here in the woods over the next few days. But I'm going to stop talking now so that I don't scare anything off. And we'll catch you next time.